Hi, I'm Heather Hartley from Worldwide Learning Group. Good to see you again, teacher friends. Today I'm talking to teachers in Georgia. So if you are a high school English teacher, I know you're getting ready for the milestones. Let's talk about that American literature end of course test and how to prepare our students a little better. I know you've been practicing, but let's face it, everybody needs a few hacks just to get us there. And that's not us. That's a way to quickly get to the punch. Let's find out what we need to do to get those 3s and 4s that we need. All right, so if your district has set it up well for you, you know that on day 1 of milestones, end of course test for English, that's the first test your students will see, and they're going to have a total of 90 minutes max to be able to take this exam. Generally, students do finish it more quickly than that, but I wanted to tell you what the lay of the exam is. I know you've already been availed the blueprints, and your district and you and curriculum directors and your academic coaches have been working hard with you to try to understand how to wrap your brain around it. But today I'm going to give you those quick tips. Bottom line, this is what you have to teach your kids. There are going to be 2 passages that they will need to read. It will be based in some sort of American literature author, but they don't need to have studied anything in particular. They won't have to pull out specific dates. There's no recall. There's no DOK 1 that your students will need to do. Everything's going to be at the 2, 3, and of course, really getting into the 4 level when we're looking at that essay because there's a product at the end. So day 1, not to get us overwhelmed, we have 2 passages, passage 1 and passage 2. That the students will need to read. They'll read both passages, and then there will be 3 associated selected response questions. This is how it will be set up. Question number 1, selected response, will pertain to the passage 1. Selected response 2, multiple choice, if some of you are not familiar with that term, multiple choice question 2 will pertain to passage 2. Teach your kids that. The third question, the third item, the third selected response, all the same thing. An item is a question. That third item is going to pertain to both. Now, these are all reading and vocabulary-based questions. Your students will need to choose the best answer because generally on milestones there will be 2 plausible answers. Okay? Now, item number 4 is a constructed response. That means your students have to actually construct what they're going to say. We typically say they're going to write out their answer. Think of it as a short answer. What I've seen is, here's your hack for you. Students that do well to get the 2 full points associated with that item don't overwrite. They answer the question correctly with appropriate response, and then they cite evidence from both texts. They must give evidence to support their correct answer from passage 1 and passage 2. I have seen students get full points when they've only written 3 or 4 sentences tops. Remember, students' writing is not being assessed on that item number 4. So let's move into the essay. There will either be an informational or an argumentative essay, and that's all on that same day. Now you know why I was telling you it's important that you teach your students how to correctly answer that constructed response. They need to practice it, because if you're writing too much and then they get to the last item, which is item number 5, based on those 2 passages, they're going to say in their heads, I've already written an essay. What is this? And then all of a sudden we start experiencing fatigue and they start to not write as much. And this is when writing is being assessed. So on that 5th item, that's when we want to practice in class and let them know, here's the essay, guys. It's informational or argumentative. And you've already taught them how to do those. So what I want to do today is a quick overview and a hack is to remind you that if you want students to do well, show them how to approach the prompt. Look at the verb. Look at the verbals in there. What do we need to do? And how do we attack it? So you've already taught them a basic essay format. Just to remind them that if it's argumentative, part of the rubrics that you have been teaching them will be used to evaluate their response in the end of course test on this writing portion. So remember, if it's argumentative, they must produce a counter argument and then have a bit of a rebuttal to that. So you can teach your kids a Platt response, such as, although one may say, da 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 da, it is best to remain, da 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 da. Teach them something, a formula to hang on to. So to wrap it up, here's your hack. We know that the first 4 items on the end of course test in American literature, day 1 of that milestones test, the first 4 pertain to only reading, comprehension, and vocabulary. First 4. The last item, number 5, that's your essay, and that will be an evaluation of the students when we look at that 2-trait rubric, which we'll discuss in a later video. But that 2-trait rubric, and your students will be evaluated using that. We're looking at content development, organization, and coherence, and then language usage and convention. So that's the whole shebang. So look for my next video where I really help you assess your students' writing as we're preparing for the Georgia Milestones. And I look forward to working with you. If you need anything, reach out to me. I'm Heather Hartley at World Right Learning, and you can find us on the web. Take care. Good luck. You got this.